Now, actually our language gets in the way of all of this, because we tend to use qualitative in the sense of quality, and then people say you can't define quality. A director stood up just before I was about to stand up and said, well, you know, I'm in charge of quality and we have trouble defining it. Okay, hard one, Phil. Now what do I do here? Gently, I went for the, it's very simple. Quality is a nominalization. It's like dog. Everyone knows what a dog is, but I ask you for a specific dog, you'll come up with 27 different dogs in this room, 50 different dogs in this room. And no two will be the same, probably. When you ask specifically what the qualities of something are, like what's the qualities of a pen, things become a lot clearer. So we can talk about the qualities of something, not quality in general. We also use subjective as an insult. We use it to mean vague, judgmental, personal opinions, without evidence, all those sorts of things. Whereas in fact, subjective means the experience of an individual. Now if they are a high-performing individual, boy, wouldn't you want to know how that really excellent salesperson actually performs and gets 3 times as much out of sales and out of the customers than anybody else. Subjective experience is actually extremely valuable. What do they know? What do they believe? What do they understand? So my second gift to you is to give you a trick to extract that. Would that be useful? Yeah. Okay. This is so simple. You ask, marks out of 10, associated with something they want to achieve. So, let me give you an example. We were doing some work, I was explaining this to a board, because in the example, we're using this at board level, not just lower down. We were the client chose the topic of diversity in the organisation. It happened to be a red hot button. Always pick the red hot buttons, just go for them. So we simply said, marks out of 10, diversity, how well do you think this organisation does? Dig, 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 marks that quickly, 7, 6, 5, you know, whatever. Now, interestingly enough, you can't answer that question without doing a massive amount of processing. You have to work out what a 10 is. You probably have to work out where 0 is. You have to work out where you are, and you have to work out the gap. You can't do that answer without doing that processing. I turned to one of the directors and said, tell me, I saw you thinking, how did you come up with your 7? He said, well, I thought of 5 or 6 other organisations, look at my hands, that I know. And I thought about the diversity and measures of what I've seen in there, and I thought about where we are with those, and I went, I think we're at least a 7, probably an 8. Now, just look at that processing he's done. Isn't that rich thinking? Yeah? We're not using that. Isn't that beautiful information that you could tease into to find out what he believes is diversity? Now, interestingly enough, we asked 1 or 2 of the others and we got completely different pictures. The chief exec said, you know what, I'm really disappointed one of the board members thought it was a 3, because here's the evidence that we are at least an 8. Notice the conversation it's generating, yeah? You can't do this without getting the information. And the reason I'm telling you this is, back in the old days of Renaissance, back in the UK office, there was 22 of us, of which about 10 or so were doing balanced scorecard stuff. There were a little bit of 2 camps. One of the camps was doing this a lot and the other lot weren't. I fell into this lot. I'm talking about 1996, right? Using this technique, because all you do is, where do you want to go? Where are you now? What's the performance gap? What stops you? How are you going to get there? Yeah? What stops you? What do we have to change? You ask that at every perspective. Lo and behold, those 4 questions get you all the way through the strategy map. Simple as that. Slightly more complicated, but that's the essence of it.